Yu Menglong's neighbor reveals inside details. New footage from the suspected crime scene leaked. Opening today's report, new revelations are emerging about the mysterious death of Chinese actor Yu Menglong. According to multiple witnesses, on the night of the incident, residents of Beijing's Sunshine Upper East community knew something was terribly wrong. The noise was deafening, chaos lasted for hours, and police were seen entering and leaving the scene. Meanwhile, a newly leaked video, allegedly recorded at the crime scene, has gone viral, sparking fresh outrage across China. Let's take a look at the video first. In the footage, a woman's desperate voice can be heard shouting, "Brother, run, run, run away, get up, hurry up." A man answers coldly, "Don't move, stay still." The woman snaps back, "Shut up." He growls, "Did you hear me?" She shouts again, "You're right here, I'm calling for help." And the man roars, "Don't shout, anyone who dares to call for help." Moments later, another faint female voice pleads, "Help me, please help me." The recording even appears to capture Yu Menglong calling out the name of his beloved dog, Fuli. The authenticity of this footage, however, has not yet been verified. On November 1st, feng shui master Ma Xian revealed on his independent media program that he had known about the case from the very beginning because Yu Menglong's neighbor was a longtime friend. That neighbor confirmed that everyone in the Sunshine Upper East compound knew what had happened that night. The disturbance began around 8 or 9 p.m. and continued deep into the night. According to the neighbor, several police cars were parked downstairs, people came and went, and flashing lights lit up the area, though it was unclear whether they were from ambulances or police vehicles. Residents were warned not to get too close. The neighbor added that he personally knew Yu Menglong, but they had never dined or spoken privately. Yu, he said, was quiet and low-key, always surrounded by others from the entertainment industry whenever he went out. After the incident, something extraordinary happened. 93 apartments in the Sunshine Upper East community were suddenly listed for sale, priced between 11.5 million and 16.5 million yuan. Locals described it as residents collectively rushing to sell their homes. The eerie silence that followed, as neighbors refused to speak, only fueled further suspicion. Ma Xian went on to reveal that nearly everyone connected to the compound has since moved out. Tenants canceled their leases, homeowners abandoned their properties, and the community is now widely known as a haunted compound. But just as the story around Sunshine Upper East grows darker, another twist has surfaced. Well-known writer's slip of the tongue just blew the Yu Menglong case wide open. In the early 2000s, a saying spread widely across Chinese social media. "It's not the mighty enemy that ruins you, it's the foolish ally." Today, I want to borrow that saying, because it perfectly describes a new twist that has just emerged in the Yu Menglong case. According to commentator Liyuan, a few days ago, the well-known mainland writer Zhao Lihua, who once publicly supported Fang Li, one of the key suspects in the case, made a shocking remark. "Even 100 million of you combined couldn't stir up a single wave." Her message was clear. Even the collective efforts of hundreds of millions of netizens could never make the slightest difference in seeking justice for Yu Menglong. But that single sentence ignited a firestorm online. Under heavy criticism, Zhao went live to clarify her words, and that's when she said far more than she intended. "I really lost my temper. I was too impulsive. Just because of that one sentence, I got myself into huge trouble. I said, what kind of nonsense is this? You think you're being rational this, rational that. Even if there are 100 million of you, how much of a wave can you make? How was I supposed to know they were a coordinated team? These are the paid online army, with powerful backers funding them, trying to stir muddy waters to protect the real murderer. To put it bluntly, maybe it's the killer's money behind all this." Then she continued, "They have to keep you distracted. If you keep wasting time arguing with Zhao Lihua or Fang Li, will you still chase the real killer? So if this part of my video hasn't been taken down yet, thank you truly for allowing me to speak freely. In our previous episode, we mentioned that Xi Jinping released his first public statement since Yu Menglong's death, claiming that Yu died from a long fall accident. But doesn't Zhao Lihua's own confession sound like a direct slap in Xi Jinping's face? Her words, "These are the paid online army, with powerful backers funding them, trying to stir muddy waters to protect the real murderer." Aren't they, in essence, confirming on behalf of those behind the crime? The ones who've been covering up, silencing, and threatening to kill one person after another, that Yu Menglong's death was no accident, there is a real murderer behind it? I'm not sure whether Zhao's words were a careless slip or something else. But one thing is certain. They set off a chain reaction that would soon engulf China's entire entertainment world, which had already fallen into an icy freeze. China's entertainment industry faces total collapse. After the Yu Menglong incident, the Chinese Communist Party imposed a ban on Yu, while netizens responded with their own ban on entertainment. The once glamorous Chinese entertainment industry, once a symbol of glitz and fame, has now completely collapsed. According to the People's Paper, on November 5th, Mango Super Media, the parent company of Tianyu Media, continued its freefall, plunging another 3.78% and becoming the biggest loser in the digital media sector. Meanwhile, China's film industry has entered total meltdown. Bloom Toward the Light earned just over 4 million yuan, around $561,300 in its first 7 days. A Morning Glow barely crossed 1 million yuan, about $140,316 in a week. The next Taylor made 4 million yuan in 6 days. The worst of all was The Fire Seed, featuring actress Tian Hairong, one of the suspects involved in the Yu Menglong case. After 15 days, it had made only around 500,000 yuan, about $70,158. Even The Shining Mountain Incident, a suspense film starring Xiao Shenyang, once hailed as a 10 billion yuan box office star, sold only 60,000 yuan, about $8,419 in pre-sale tickets before release. With an investment of 100 million yuan, approximately $14 million, the film's break-even point is nowhere in sight. On November 3rd, the 2025 Weibo Vision Conference took place in Beijing. But the entire live stream spiraled out of control. The comment section flooded with just 3 words, Yu Menglong. For the entire event, netizens filled the screen demanding justice for him. In truth, public disappointment toward China's entertainment industry has been building for years. Capital has hijacked creativity, regulators have turned a blind eye, fake publicity dominates, and trash dramas and low-quality films keep multiplying. When scandals erupt, celebrities play dead. When they should speak up, they stay silent until they have a new movie to promote, when suddenly they reappear, calling on audiences to support domestic films. The storm triggered by the Yu Menglong case became the final straw. As one netizen wrote, "Water can carry a boat, but it can also overturn it. We can push Nezha onto the global charts, and we can also send the entire entertainment industry into a deep freeze." But speaking out for Yu Menglong has proven dangerous. Lin Beichuan, a red descendant from a military family who frequently posted demanding justice for Yu Menglong, is now in serious trouble. As previously reported on November 3rd, he wrote that he was visiting friends at the Sunshine Upper East community, the same place where Yu Menglong was found dead. Later, he added cryptically, "I didn't come here alone. It's not convenient to say more. I've confirmed that I can post this." Netizens have been anxiously awaiting any sign of his safety. On November 4th, a user named Beijing Chie, one of Lin's closest contacts, shared a QQ message from Lin that read, "All the suspects have now reported me to the police at the same time, accusing me of spreading rumors. No one should message me privately, remember that." Later that day, Beijing Chai posted again, "Their attacks and boycotts against Beichuan were never about him personally, they're targeting the group he represents." On November 5th, he posted once more, "Chuan has withdrawn from school, probably temporarily. I couldn't reach him directly, only one of his teachers." Shortly after, he added, "Don't panic. Stay calm. Keep our focus and stay on track. Ignore distractions. By November 6, he probably won't be able to leave. Netizens suspect that authorities have already detained Lin Beichuan, combing through his contacts to identify anyone who has chatted or messaged him, then pressuring them to sign confessions. Online communities are now warning, do not send him private messages. The CCP is preparing a second wave of its Clean Internet campaign, and Lin Beichuan may become the scapegoat, labeled as a reactionary. Adding to the chaos, another mainland netizen posted that on the platform Threads, a Tencent-affiliated streamer, also known as a goose streamer, exposed the personal information of 6 out of 17 suspects on November 4th, including their phone numbers and home addresses. Soon, screenshots of this information began circulating on domestic platforms and comment sections within the Great Firewall. Another user issued an urgent warning that it was a trap. The information right now is a mess. They're playing tricks again. Don't call those numbers. They reminded everyone that all phone numbers inside the Great Firewall are registered under real names. If you make a call, authorities can track you. That goose streamer's team wants you to call. Once enough people do, they'll use it as an excuse to frame someone and smear their name. Netizens believe that in today's complex and perilous environment, everyone must protect their families, stay firmly focused on the main objective, pushing for an official case investigation, and keep writing letters and reporting upward through official channels. They also remind one another to hold tight to their wallets until the system runs out of money. Some side that in China, living an ordinary life has become harder than reaching the heavens. With just one accusation of treason, the Chinese Communist Party can crush a person entirely, leaving them with no power to fight back. Though the road ahead is difficult, they remain steadfast. One post reads, "We're not fighting for a final result. We're fighting for an order, a principle, a bottom line." When an entire system is forced by the persistence of ordinary people to finally face the corner it once ignored, then no matter the outcome, we've already won the most important battle. We've proven that every life deserves to be treated with dignity. Up next, a rather amusing story from the United States. Trump jokes about China bilateral. Never seen men so scared. After meeting with Chinese Communist Party leader Xi Jinping in South Korea on October 30th, where both sides reportedly agreed to a temporary trade truce by rolling back certain measures, U.S. President Donald Trump had some interesting moments to share. According to the Epoch Times, President Trump joked at a breakfast on November 5th, mimicking the posture of the Chinese officials during the bilateral meeting and their overly stiff reactions. Trump said he's got 6 people on each side, and every one of those people were standing like this. They were at attention, and I made a comment to one of them. I got no response. I said, "Are you going to answer me?" I got no response. And President Xi didn't let him have any. Trump went on, sending the room into laughter. I said, "I want my cabinet to behave like that. I want them sitting up straight, just nice and proper. I've never seen posture like that. I've never seen men so scared in their lives." Then, lowering his voice to mimic one of the Chinese officials, Trump added, "They have an equivalent of a vice president." He said, "I will answer all questions," after the first one didn't respond. JD doesn't behave like that. JD always jumps into conversations. I want that for at least a couple of days. And with that, the entire room erupted in laughter. Then came another detail that caught everyone's attention. Peng Liyuan vanishes from Apec. Xinhua erases Xi Jinping's name. On October 8th, South Korea's Mail business newspaper reported that, according to sources inside and outside the Korean government, China had notified Seoul that Xi Jinping and his wife, Peng Liyuan, would visit Gyeongju at the end of October while attending Apec. But in the end, Peng Liyuan didn't go, and it turned into a diplomatic mishap. The move was widely seen as disrespectful and embarrassing for the host nation. Normally, Peng Liyuan always travels abroad with Xi, so this time, her absence broke precedent. Another unmistakable sign that something unusual is happening. So, what does this abnormal detail reveal? Then, on the evening of November 3rd, China's state-run Xinhua news agency released two nearly identical reports just 41 seconds apart. The first report quoted Zhang Youxia, vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, publicly mentioning Xi Jinping and the phrase, "two establishes." But in the second version, published less than a minute later, every single mention of Xi Jinping and the two establishes had been completely removed. Later, when the PLA Daily covered the same military meeting, it copied Xinhua's second version, the one without Xi's name, a move highly unusual for China's official propaganda machine. So, what do these three incidents really tell us? According to commentator Dayu, they all point to one conclusion. Xi Jinping's power is slipping away. He now appears to be under the control of others. Even when he wants to bring his wife on an overseas trip, it doesn't happen. Those who accompany him are merely stage props, and inside China, the propaganda that once glorified him has withered into empty ceremony, fading day by day. Xi is starting to resemble Hua Guofeng, who quietly stepped out of China's political center decades ago. And now Xi himself seems to be visibly fading, step by step, from the core of power. Of course, all of this is still personal speculation. What are your thoughts on this? How do you see Xi's current situation? Share them in the comments below, and let's continue to follow how events unfold, both in China's political arena and in the Yu Menglong case. And before you go, don't forget to drop this icon in the comments to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you found this analysis insightful, please like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss future updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to drop this icon in the comments to help us beat the YouTube algorithm. If you found this analysis valuable, please like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching. See you next time.